from like the mid 90s to like 2014 or maybe even 2010 that people were just really into the Discovery Channel to a point where they kind of felt like it was more it was like way more educational than it was. It was like kind of like reading a book in a way. So did any of you guys I'll start with Will. Did you have any stuff you watched on the Discovery Channel?
Oh, I had plenty of stuff I watched on the Discovery Channel. And I mean, I guess like this is the nature of the Discovery Channel and what we're going to be talking about today. It's sort of got hooked based on the wonderful nature documentaries because I like watching animals and the stuff they get up to. But then I don't know what year, like there was an era in which it shifted away from the splendor of the natural world to the splendor of guys and guys doing jobs. It was like sort of I don't know, like a Bush era kind of thing where it was just sort of like if people don't have blue collar jobs anymore, we can at least watch other people on TV do dangerous, grueling labor like Deadliest Catch, dirty jobs. And then of course there was the content for the proto soy America. I mean, like that was for Red America.
Oh, hey, my ears are okay. I'm listening now. I'm listening now. Sorry.
Mythbusters,
Oh yeah,
stuff like that. So.
Will, you brought this up. I love that you brought up the three things you brought up are on the first thing that I collected for this show. So I went to a message. I finally found a Discovery Channel message board after looking and looking and looking because most of them closed down.
Because it fell off, right? Does it even exist anymore?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Because it did definitely fall off, though, right? Because I do remember when I was younger, Discovery Channel was like a big thing. Maybe I guess just when TV was a big thing and you had like cable TV. But yeah, now I don't really hear about it anymore.
Yeah, you'd be hard pressed to figure out what's on TV nowadays on the lower end channels.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I got no idea what's happening with Discovery. But so that's true then, because you're saying the message board's closed down. So the buzz surrounding it doesn't exist in present day.
No, and I can tell you what's on there now, like Moonshiners.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, Moonshiners is great. That's prime hotel room TV watching. Like I watch Discovery Channel now when I'm in hotels and Law and Order isn't on. I'll watch a show about the moonshine people,
Street Outlaws. One of my favorites.
Lest we forget American Shopper, the
Yes.
Tuttles. Yeah.
Moonshiners
it ceased to be about animals and became about people.
Is that one of those made up shows like the Tow Truck Show? Do you know the Tow Truck Show where it's like there's all the fake manufactured drama? Is Moonshiners the same thing or
yes.
are they?
Okay. I mean, you couldn't really do a show that follows real true moonshiners. And also the police who go after, because they also have people with the cops that are looking for the moonshiners. It's like, come on, man.
Bizarre.
Moonshiners is like the drama of Moonshiners is like some guy comes across like a remaindered shipment of like frozen strawberries and he's just like, what can I do with this? Hey, strawberry flavored liquor, anybody? And then they build a still in the woods.
Those old boys making that moonshine.
That's the cops.
The cops are like guys you recognize from other TV shows.
Well, in 2009, this was what was going on with the Discovery Channel. I found this forum and they go, hello, Discovery Channel fans. What's your favorite show from Discovery and why? And this is just like a pre kind of Discovery pivoting to reality thing because it happened in 2009. And the first thing Egalega says on here is Cash Cab. What coordination to not only navigate the New York City streets with the other crazy cab drivers.
Well, wait a second,
but to MC a game show in the process.
Wait a second, though. Didn't Cash Cab hit and kill someone?
They killed a guy, yeah.
Yeah, so it didn't. Yeah, that's true. I'm not making that up. Yeah. Cash Cab killed a guy or killed a person. So obviously, yeah, it is quite difficult to navigate those two things at once in certain instances. That's kind of sort of a dark. The Cash Cab guy was a stand-up.
Oh yeah. Ben Bailey.
Yeah, so he came. I remember I did a show and he came by and did a set on it, and it was like a big deal because it was the cash cab guy, you know. But I never watched the
This is,
show.
I mean, well, this is all coming back to me now because I was a huge Cash Cab fan, and like, sort of like,
Nice.
I like how I said the Discovery Channel went from being about animals to being about people and the jobs they do. Like, I was most into watching Discovery Channel when I was unemployed, so it was like instead of watching a nature documentary about like this baby elephant struggles to find its mother on the African savannah, it's just like, I wonder what having a job would be like.
Yeah, that.
You know, and like to that end, like you talked about, like, you know, it's a certain kind of American rubery that I was not immune to, because like, you know, living in New York City, I would just be like, man, if I could just get the cash cab to pick me up, I could have like $800. But like the belief that these are actual people
Yeah.
hailing a cab, finding themselves on a game show, and not like that it was like all pre-scripted.
That's
and,
kind
like,
of a cool thing.
they've
about
auditioned
the,
for it.
like on the in the Big Apple though, that is a possibility. My stupid ass walking around, I ain't got a fucking chance getting picked up by the cash cab. My little 2-bit Canadian town, you know. But in New York City, you could get picked up by some sort of a thing doing a show. You
Sort
know,
of a cash cab.
Yeah, but I mean, like, you have to audition for it. I mean, it'd just be like, you know, walking around LA and like you like turn a corner, open a door, and you're in the Jeopardy studio, and they're like, "I'll take potables for 500, Alex."
Yeah, you're right. You're right. They have to like have you sign stuff. I guess maybe
Yeah.
they could do it after. I should have asked the cash cab guy when I fucking seen him at that comedy show.
Just annoying him in the green room.
Yeah, but probably
Hey, man.
nobody does that. It probably would be cool for him to talk about the
I'm
cash
so
cab.
glad you asked me about my show. That's all.
Hey, that's cool. I'm trying to do stand up here, but yeah, I'd love to talk about the thing that every single person in the world asks me about.
Well, Stripe 17 replied with 3 of them. One that I'm very familiar with, dirty jobs, and he answered interesting topics and one hell of a star. This show is educational, funny, and adventurous.
Wow, that's three good things.
Number 2, Deadliest Catch. Even
Huge
though
fan of that one.
Oh, I know. I think everybody, that was the last hit.
That was a huge show. I never watched it again. I wasn't a bit. I did watch some of these every now and then, like you said, like it would just pop up. But I remember that one being the biggest show at one time. You know, like maybe the biggest show on TV. It felt like.
Yeah, people liked watching
But
those
it was
guys.
a phenomenon.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so this guy describes it by saying, even though these same crews are out there, quote, fishing week after week, the show is presented in a very interesting and exciting format. So, quote, fishing. And number 3, Mythbusters. And this is, I think, the holy trinity of the Discovery Channel, because he goes, I like the show and the team, but, parentheses, even though I know they have to do it, some of the safety steps are too much. Pretty soon they'll require viewers to wear a seatbelt and stay 10 feet from the screen.
I hate the way that there's no chance that the hosts I love will die. That's the only annoying part of the show.
Well, to be fair to Deadliest Catch, there actually was a pretty good chance that someone could die on that show.
Yeah,
because commercial fisherman is probably the most dangerous job that you can have in America.
That's true.
That show I did watch, Mythbusters. That was a great show, and it's the one that a lot of people are going to point out, the one Will brought up when he's talking about the soy kind of ones, and it is, yes, the only one that I really loved. But I think it was like. I think that one, I feel like it's the thing Bryan said. I felt like I was being educated. Like I was smart watching this show.
Guys would fucking say, you would meet dudes and they'd be like, all I really watch is the Discovery Channel. Like, as in a way to say, like, I'm a little bit smarter than what you're like, what are you watching, Entertainment Tonight or something?
Yeah. Oh, I have a television, but I'm watching educational programming. That's the only thing I watch.
Yeah, I have a television, but the remote control does not get a lot of use because it pretty much stays on Discovery Channel.
I was trying to locate the nude photo of Jamie from Mythbusters, and you know what, gang? With AI and stuff, this totally ruined the whole fucking game here, because I can't.
Was
tell
there a
up
real
and
nude?
down. No, it was a fake. There was a guy who looked like him that was like spreading his ass or something like that. But now I can't find it. You'd be hard pressed to find it now with all the AI stuff.
They don't talk about that shit either when they're
Another myth
discussing
busted.
Just AI debate, you know? Like, what
Can't
about
find my
that?
wrestler nudes. Actually, the AI has made my wrestler nudes even
It's
better.
improved your life.
I
Yeah.
can get almost anybody naked now.
I mean, AI has definitely improved my life. That's for sure.
That is true. The wrestling nude thing is funny because like it used to be you could only get the really large freakish looking guys nudes. Now you can get any of the guys nudes. So
That's
I have a
very
phone
cool.
full of them. I took a look at the YouTube for Discovery Channel to sort of sift through some comments. And this is a thought starter. They go, I miss the old Discovery Channel. I hate reality TV because it's so fake. So the guy that responds to this says his name is Video Clippets. They had no choice but to dumb it down due to the increasing general stupidity and short attention span of the ever evolving audience. If they wanted to stay in business and survive, they had to develop content for the simple minded audience that were taking over the demographic.
Wow.
They are the ones whose attention can only be
Yeah.
maintained for more than a few minutes by highly dramatic, emotional inducing scenes. Anything remotely intelligent would shut them down and they would get bored. Sorry, state of
Just
reality.
oblivious to the entire history of reality TV or whatever. Not even thinking about that.
You know, I liked Mythbusters when they were doing educational intelligent content, like, you know, figuring out scientifically whether it would be better to fight 1,000 regular sized ducks or one really large duck.
Yeah.
But I soured on them when they refused to bust the biggest myth of all, religion.
It's funny to think like he's like, well, they back in the day, the Mythbusters would tape a cell phone to a can of gasoline and see if it would explode if you called it.
Smart guy version of Mythbusters was Mansers on the Spike Network, where they would ask, could a guy ever fart himself to death? And they would do an experiment.
That was a show that I could wrap my head around. That was a show that
Finally, some fucking science.
finally some science for guys like me. Yeah, I legitimately watched that show. Like, I found it funny, but I did watch it.
Mansers is like, that's the thing that guy's mad about. He was like, you know, I noticed that people were starting to watch Mansers, and that means that they're not ready for moonshiners. Well, I guess Stefan said, but not Stefan Heck, by the way.
Might be. How do you know it's not
spelled different?
Oh,
I'm
okay.
a part-time Uber driver in the DC area until last year.
Sounds like him, but
yeah. Until last year, Discovery headquarters was less than 10 miles from my house. One day I gave a ride to one of their higher-ups. I flat out, without sugarcoating, asked her why the channel went to so many trashy shows. She said, because they get the ratings, and the more hillbilly, the better the ratings. It all started with those chopper shows. She said she doesn't like it either. So
that's a sick story. That's such a cool story. Like, I love that. Just like one of the higher ups, undisclosed kind of person told me this. It's such a clear lie, but I do like it.
Hillbillies, but like that they need, the more hillbilly the better.
The Tuttle family was from Orange County, New York. I don't know if that counts as being a true son of the soil, but you know, they had the mustaches and the motorcycles and things like that. But yeah, like all of this is it's just like a theatrical presentation of what jobs are like for people who don't have email or don't do email jobs. Like that's what the Discovery Channel was.
Yeah.
That's like these hillbilly shows. It's just like, oh, like people, these guys build motorcycles. Wow. Imagine if I had that job.
And when you say I wanted that job so bad. You have no idea. There was this period of time where all I wanted in this world was to be on Monster Garage. Now, didn't know Jesse James was a Nazi. First of all, just
I was going to bring that up.
Before I get in trouble for that, I didn't know he was a Nazi at the time, and I didn't have any experience in doing basically anything with my hands except for cable, which isn't doesn't like lead to
There were
anything.
no Discovery. They weren't doing any Discovery Channel shows about like American cable guys. American
They were
cable
doing some
guy.
pretty fucking funny and cool movies about it, though.
That's true.
Damn it, Chris. This is the fourth time you've brought up that I
Oh,
the movie.
wait a second. Here's a pitch for Discovery Channel. I mean, like it's got a little frisson of hillbilly in it. It's like sort of similar to Moonshiners. It's about American illegal cable guys who give you like the descrambler so you can get Skinamax for free,
See, now I would go back to the business
and the
to
law
do that.
enforcement agents who try to stop the cable company cops who try to stop you from stealing HBO.
In 10 years, and I'm not gonna lie, in 7 years of being a cable guy, I only saw one raid. And it was a guy that they don't care if you hook up free cable for people. It was a guy that kept doing it and then fucking up his neighbor's cable. So they finally had to go get the police and knock the guy's door down and get him in trouble. But this took like years. Like it took almost the entire time I worked for the cable company for them to decide that. So Richard Galley said, quote, reality TV, unquote. I've never understood the appeal of a program that is scripted, rehearsed, staged, and narrated, then portrayed as something spontaneous. The actual content, parentheses lack of it, is often secondary to turmoil and controversy between characters. Unfortunately, it is a bulk of what's on the TV now. So a lot of people really having like it's gone down the drain.
They're intellectuals. The problem is these are Discovery Channel intellectuals who are now like, these are not just regular people being forced to watch this. It's like these are upper crust intellectuals, and now that's why we're getting these types of reactions, I think.
Academics are
exactly, academics, those types.
Yeah, I too hate how sort of staged, managed, and scripted reality TV is. I mean, I want something real. Like, can Jesse James turn this tractor into a Panzer tank?
Gotta get this bike done for Shaq now.
Because he would just be like the Monster Garage would just be turning out monster trucks if it weren't for the cameras. I mean, like they're just fly on the wall. They're just seeing what's happening in Jesse James's garage or the Tuttle's auto shop. If like they'd be doing all the same things if it wasn't for the Discovery Channel. This is real verite.